Hey everyone, and welcome to Screams After Midnight. I'm Peter, that is Tim, and we talk about horror movies here. This, of course, is still part of the Octoberthon. We're talking about a lot of horror movies over the month of October because, it's Halloween time and we're feeling festive, and Tim's just raring to go. Look at him, he's like a. Oh, jeez.
Happy little weasel.
Oh, when I look at Tim's face, I don't see locker room talk, I see locker room, like, groping going on in there. There's all sorts of things happening in that sick mind of his.
Pete, there's no time to bring up your sick fantasies.
Fantasies, nightmares, Timmy, nightmares.
I've read your fan.
I wake up in a cold sweat, Timmy.
Well, I don't know if you'd call that sweat, but
Oh boy. Starting off strong, we are going to talk about The Grudge. Now, of course, we already did the Jew on The Grudge and Jew on The Grudge 2 a few weeks ago. In fact, I may have even been less than that by the time this goes up. But yeah, so this is going to be the US version of The Grudge, the remake, if you will, with the same director, Takeshi Shimizu, I think his name is, if I remember correctly, and stars Sarah Michelle Gellar, and it was made in 2004, and it came out only 2 years after the original.
oh wow.
Yeah, I think so, 2 years. And the interesting thing about this is, and spoilers, of course, for the movie that we're going to talk about, is that I feel like one of my big complaints about the Ring remake, especially watching it again recently because we've been working through them because we're building up to Sadako versus Kayako,
I can't wait.
but that movie felt so sterile. That was one of the big complaints we had. It felt like it was just lacking of any tone or mood. It just felt so clean. Whereas I think this actually does a pretty good job of maintaining the feel
Yeah.
of the movie. Now, obviously, part of that's because it's the same director. Part of that is also that it's still set in Japan.
hmm
It's a little coincidental that all of the primary characters are all American.
Yeah.
But once you get past that, this isn't a bad movie at all, actually.
No, this is a pretty good remake. It's definitely up there as far as like the list of remakes go because I feel like in general they usually tend to linger more on the bad side.
Yeah.
But now if you remember when we did the Jew on the Grudge, I was over the moon about it. I gave it a 10 out of 10. It's number two on my all-time favorite horror movies, and I feel like this one suffers a little bit because of that. Because it is still a good movie on its own, but it is hard to divorce it from, the original. Like I saw the US one first, and I really liked it. But now after having, seen the original and loving that one so much, it does lessen this one a little bit for me, and it's kind of stinks, that it's going to live in its shadow a little bit. But it is still enjoyable, good watch.
Yes. It's it's a solid time. I think the first like it's 90 minutes long, right? And the first
Yeah.
hour I'd say is pretty similar to the original. Like,
Mm.
there's a couple of small things. Obviously, it's Sarah Michelle Gellar's character who's the caretaker who comes over to
Mhm.
look after the old woman. She has like a boyfriend character who wasn't in the original. So that's interestingly, actually, Sarah Michelle Gellar obviously was Buffy, and her
Yes.
boyfriend her boyfriend in this movie was in an episode of Buffy.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was in a season 2 episode of Buffy, and then Claire Duval, who plays the wife of the family who moved in just
Mhm.
before,
Mhm.
the daughter-in-law of the old woman.
Right.
She was also in an episode of Buffy.
Oh, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't realize that either.
She was the Invisible Girl in season 1.
Oh, right. Oh, cool.
Yeah. So in a
Yeah.
weird way, this was like all these like small like Buffy guest stars with Buffy herself in this movie. It was kind of odd, but
Can
um,
I just say it well, I know you're a huge fan of Buffy,
hmm
and I don't think we talk about it that much, but I'm a really big fan as well. Not as much as you, but I that was definitely like a seminal show for me growing up, and I still really like it. And I rewatched the whole series like a couple of years ago, and it's just such a delight seeing Sarah Michelle Gellar at anything, just because like I think she's a good actress, but it's not like I don't know. I guess just maybe seeing her always reminds me of Buffy a little bit,
Of
which
course
is a
it
good
does.
feeling.
Yeah, it's a good feeling. It is nice. Nice. And that's
Also my second favorite actor is in this movie as well, Ted Raimi.
Ted Raimi's your second favorite actor.
Let me think real. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Maybe it was just because we just saw him on the latest Ash versus Evil Dead episode.
I just like second best. Like who's the first actually
Sam Raimi.
actor?
He was great in Intruder.
Your favorite actors are Sam and Ted Raimi. Oh, Christian Bale and like Will Smith and Jack Nicholson, they're all just like standing around, and
Yeah.
Sam and Ted Raimi,
Yeah.
they're the stars. No, it's worth noting that Sam Raimi's Ghost House Productions produced the film, which is why it's got that connection to them, and why Ted presumably ended up in the movie. So
I think that's why I actually like Ted, because when I look at him, I kind of see a little bit of myself in there, where it's like a guy where I'm like, man, if one of my friends could get really famous, or like if my brother ever hits it big, and I could just kind of leech off him a little bit. Not saying that that's what Ted Raimi does. I'm sure he goes through a very thorough hiring process, but yeah.
I think you just insulted Ted Raimi. I think you just implied that he's leeching off Sam's success, and that's a real crying shame. He's going to be banging on your door. His people are going to tell him about this. They're going to find out.
I mean, if it gets him to my house,
Yeah.
I'll be fine with that.
Oof. Right. So, what are the differences? I feel like because we already spoke about obviously the original Joe and the Grudge. I feel like most of this conversation will lately be about what's different and what works about that, what doesn't work about that. I think that's what I point out first though is what's the same. Not so much in terms of plot, because we have the couple who moved here. They die. Then we have the sister scene where the Kayako in the bed sheets. Some similar moments. There's some small changes, like the moment when the sister's going up the elevator. We don't just see Toshio once. We see him like every floor. He keeps getting closer, which is also a good idea. Like, I honestly don't really know which one I prefer. Like, where you just see him the once on one floor, or when you see him getting closer each floor. Like, because they're both good. But I mean, it's a taste thing, I think, more than anything else. But the stuff that I want to point out that's the same though is Kayako and her husband. The one who murdered her. They're both played by the same actors as the original movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that.
Did you not recognize them, Timmy?
No, not really. I don't have a good memory.
I didn't look it up. I just recognized them. Like, because we watched the original just a month ago or so. It wasn't that long. I was like,
That's long for me.
but like, I immediately recognized both of them, and I seen their pictures, and I'm like, it's the same actors. That's actually kind of cool.
Definitely.
I don't know if Toshio is. I feel like it could be, but at the same time, it's been 2 years, so he might have been too old to have the same actor
for
back.
a kid, that's a long time.
Yeah, it's a long time. Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe he is. Maybe he's not. It's hard to tell. He's definitely a similar looking kid. They got kid with the same haircut and whatever. But so I thought it was a cool touch. I thought that was a nice way of honouring the original, as is setting it in Japan and keeping that sort of Japanese like heritage there. And it's still a Japanese myth. It's a Japanese ghost story. It's all those things.
It feels like a lot more respectful than like some of the other movies we watch, like The Forest, where it feels like like a very I don't want to say like racist or offensive, but it feels like a kind of out of place. Like, why is this?
Yeah, I don't think racist or offensive are the words. You're right to say that they're not that. It's more just that The Forest, it uses the country it's in as a we're in this mystical place that's not normal. It's so weird.
Yeah.
Whereas here they point out the differences, but it's actually kind of funny. When Clea Duvall's character is shopping, and she's feeling homesick. She can't speak Japanese. Everything's kind of alien to her, and she pokes a hole in the noodles or whatever it is to smell it to see if it's a flavor she likes, because she can't read any of the labels. and she ends up like buying like 5 of them because she knows, oh, that smells good. I'll buy 5 of these. This is safe.
Yeah.
But it's relatable because I feel like that might be something I'd do if I was there.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely.
So
Yeah.
but it works. So that's cool. But one of the I guess the biggest change about this, other than some of the segments not being there, because obviously in the original, we had the original detective that investigated the original case, and we also had his daughter who got her own segment. That's missing,
And
and instead we have Sarah Michelle Gellar actually investigating the crime. And I feel like that's the biggest thing that makes it feel a bit more American, is that they gave it, at least in the second half, it felt a bit more conventional because the main character investigates what's going on and tries to figure it out. At the same time, though, I don't feel like it, because even though it goes down a different path and it kind of explains things a little bit more, it doesn't spell them out either.
yeah, well, I think in general, kind of the big differences, or the big difference I feel is the first one is very, or not the first, the original, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's very segmented. Like you can easily be like, that's the first segment, the second segment, whatever. And this, there are different segments to it, but
they even have titles in the original. Like it comes up saying a title for each one.
yeah. And then in this one, like it is segmented. It is segmented, but it kind of flows more naturally. I feel like it's not like a jarring breakup.
It feels like Sarah Michelle Gellar's character's story is the main one, and the others are flashbacks to support it, rather than
exactly. Yeah.
Whereas the other one feels almost like an anthology at times because of the way it splits it up. And I feel like that was a conscious choice, and I think because even though we don't get the moment with the father seeing his daughter through this sort of time loop, we still get that type of moment with her and Bill Pullman's character, who's again, his character's a lot more involved because he's the one that the husband believed Kayako was having an affair with, because he finds all the letters saying I love Peter, and which, by the way, I love reading that on a screen. It's someone named Peter. I do enjoy seeing, although seeing Kayako and Peter with like hearts is a bit creepy. I don't know.
I fast forward through that part, but
sorry, Japanese ghost lady. I'm not interested. Thank you. But
don't be so picky.
But they use it. I'm sorry that I want my potential girlfriend to be alive, Tim. I mean, how picky I am. But no, so they use that to actually give a bit more backstory. Like, they actually show him discovering, and they also set it more in stone. Like, they actually say, no, she wasn't having an affair. Because the whole reason Bill Pullman goes to the house is because he's been getting these love letters that are unjustified. He's unwanted, whatever. And he's going to ask her about it and be like, look, can you stop or whatever? And
what's the deal?
But of course, this is like right after the husband's killed her, and presumably hung himself, and she sees all this happen. So it kind of makes it clearer what they were telling us in the original movie, but at the same time, it doesn't spell it out either, because I think that she sees him read all these things saying Kayako loves Peter and all that, and I feel like in a lot of other movies they would have characters say it out loud. Like, they would have the characters repeat everything, whereas here they trust us to just put it together, what we're seeing.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Yeah, like most movies, you'd probably have like his ghost or something be like, "Wow, my student's in love with me," like something like, which is like not the way people ever act in real life.
I feel like by not doing that is how you keep a little bit of the tone and the mystery, is you don't interrupt it with needless exposition. Because even if it wasn't him, it would be her. It'd be Sarah Michelle Gellar watching it. And by the way, I loved a lot of the stuff in that scene, because obviously in the original movie, the father sees the daughter for like a split second. It's like a moment. Whereas in this, like, the whole scene plays out. And there was several moments where I loved, where you were questioning, does he see her?
Yeah.
And when it looks like he's looking in that direction, and at one point it looks like he's going to grope, I feel, but she realises he's going through her to get to the door, and it just... So I thought that was an effective scene. And we get... But there is like specific moments that I think are a little bit worse. I think Kayako coming down the stairs at the end isn't as effective as the original movie for whatever reason.
Yeah, it's still... I think one of the problems is it does look like a little more cleaner, or I guess like a little more natural. Like it's still weird, and I think it still looks cool, but like the original is just so jarring and unnatural.
Tim, did you kill someone? Because there's a lot of police coming your way.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I mean, it's whenever there's like police in here, it's never just one.
Yeah, so it's the entire
Uh,
force. It's all coming.
yeah.
Ah, dear. Anyway, so yes, what were you saying, Timmy? It's a little bit clean.
So yeah, like it just the original is a big one coming. Okay. Yeah, so the original is just like it's so like unnatural and like weird and I don't know, there's just like nothing like it. It's like weird like for your brain to even like
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I do think it loses a little bit of that weirdness. It feels a little bit
yeah.
more streamlined, I guess, for Western audiences. But I don't think it
Yeah.
loses too much. Whereas with The Ring, I felt like it lost so much of its mood and tone. Whereas
Right.
there's, I
Yeah.
still feel the same kind of creepiness, and I still think actually the moment one of my favorite moments is actually right at the start. It's when the first is it Yoko, I think, the first caregiver
Care okay.
who
Yeah.
comes over to the house, and we see her like go up into the attic and look around. I
Oh
love the
right.
shot of you see Kayako like just like sitting there in the background where she's
Yeah.
when she's where she's not looking in the darkness before she pounces, but you see it and it's just quiet when you first see her, and I love that moment. It's like a really
Yeah.
great creepy moment, which is arguably better than was there a poking the face up into the attic scene in the original? I think there was. I seem to remember there being one.
Yeah, yeah, I think the
Yeah,
first person that's there, yeah.
yeah.
I think that's like one of the first like kind of ghostly things we see in it.
Yeah, so so I think there's some stuff that's actually maybe even slightly better, just
Yeah.
for that moment. Um, so no, and I do like that. I like that they play with the idea that the American characters do feel kind of lost because they're in Japan.
Mm.
Like they feel like they're out of their element, and it kind of makes it feel even creepier when like Karen, who's a Gellar's character, like she can't
Mm.
even find the house. Like she has to ask like for directions, and she's getting
Yeah.
lost and stuff. And I like that they play with that. I mean, like I say, it's a bit of a coincidence that the guy that Kayako had a crush on was also an American. Like that,
Yeah.
that's where it feels a bit weird. Also, the fact that the family's sister is also living in Japan with them. And I'm like, would she move too? like,
Yeah, that's a bit of a stretch,
yeah. I
but
mean, I guess maybe if they all wanted to stay close to the mum and she made
yeah.
the choice to move with them, I guess. But I don't know. I just feel, if anything, I thought that was a good opportunity. To like maybe she came with them and they moved in to help them move, but then went back to America. Like, what if like the ghost still followed her there? What if she was in the
Oh,
US and thought she was safe because of that? But we got a scene where we were in New York or whatever, like pick your city,
yeah.
and like we still end in the bed because that's a great moment with the bed covers, but we get some more like of the location that's different first. I don't know. I just a
Yeah.
thought.
Oh, that could be cool.
But no. Um,
Well, do you
yeah,
want to get to the ending?
the ending.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so there's an extra scene at the end, which finally for me I felt like the director was almost like assuming that some people who were watching it had seen the original, so he
Yeah.
deliberately added on an extra bit so that like it didn't just end when you thought it was ending, and you got like an
Mhm.
extra little thing.
Yeah.
I thought the ending was fine. Like the idea that it was still coming after her even after she seemingly burned down the house, and why? What did you not like
Uh,
about it, Timmy?
it just felt like a little bit of that thing we usually tend to complain about where it's like, all right, you have to end with like one last kind of jump scare.
No, true, true. But a lot of them are really, really bad, right? Where they just
Yeah.
like have a crappy scare. Especially, we've seen this with the Sinister movies, and we've seen it with a few other things. Where the camera just stares at something for like 10 seconds, and then there's
And
a
then
loud jump, right?
yeah.
Whereas this, I at least thought it was a creepy thing where they're sort of, it almost looks like they're standing back to back until she turns around and you see that she's actually facing forward, but the hair's just covering everything but the
Yeah.
eye. And as much as I complained about that in John 2, I feel like here they did market the entire thing with a poster with that image. So I'm not going to
Yeah.
complain that it's out of,
I mean, it fits more than most, but I still wasn't crazy about it. It's like, yeah, if you're gonna compare it to other, last minute jumps or whatever, yeah, it's definitely better than most. But still, at the same time, I felt like it was a little unnecessary.
See, I think if I was going to complain about it, is I would say it goes over too quickly. I feel like
Yeah.
they should have lingered more on her, before Kayako showed up to like take her. Like it just
Mhm.
felt like it was within like a minute of like the start of the scene. It was just like too, the pacing was off on it. Whereas, but I don't actually have a problem with the thing itself happening. I actually really like the moment where you see her standing behind her before she realizes it. I always like seeing characters in the background before a protagonist realizes. That's always something I enjoy. It's something that Halloween does a lot really well. Something that, um, like the Strangers did that really well. If you've seen that.
Yeah.
Um, so
It is cool. It makes it feel like a little bit more like realistic in a way that like these characters like exist in this world. They're where like in the background stuff they're not
yeah,
always on focus.
I guess what I'm trying to say there is that it's not really a jump scare because it doesn't play like a jump scare. I mean, it's one final scare moment. Don't get me wrong, but it's not a jump scare. It's
Yeah.
a creepy. She's there, you know, moment.
No, yeah, fair enough. I just it's still not crazy about it though.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
that's fair. Um, so yeah, any other changes you'd like to talk about, or
Um, I guess the other, maybe kind of semi big one was like the boyfriend character, but I mean he was fine.
yeah, he was just kind of there to be someone who worried about her more than anything.
Yeah. Um,
He wasn't really much of a character in all really. Do you know what I liked the because we get more of the Peter character who wasn't really in the original. I don't think we ever seen him at all in the original. It was just something that was implied that
well, I think in the original, I don't like, yeah, like we never had like an actual
person,
character.
yeah,
Yeah, I think it was just,
like
yeah, the husband had some like this idea that there might have been something
an
going on
affair,
with his
yeah.
wife.
Whereas
Yeah.
here it was like no, she definitely. I liked that it wasn't actually an affair though. It was just her
Yeah.
liking him,
Mhm.
and like he wasn't actually guilty of anything. But I did enjoy the opening, like him just sort of like creepily like committing suicide like that was actually really
It was a cool like it wasn't like a big over dramatic thing where like he like jump does this big jump. It's like a very like kind of subdued, like just
yeah.
kind of slumping over the edge.
I liked it. It set the tone. I think it sets the tone really well for the movie. So,
Yeah.
no, I really like this. I enjoyed this a lot when I seen it. I still enjoy it a lot now. A couple of the elements do feel a little bit dated, but it's not. It holds up a lot better than the US remake of The Ring. Like I
Oh,
really feel
without a
that.
doubt. Yeah.
I think this is I mean, Tim said he gave the original a 10. I'll remind you that I gave it an 8.5.
Mhm.
So I just want to keep those in perspective so that now that we do our ratings for this one, you can see
Yeah.
like where we're coming from. So Timmy, what would you rate this?
I'm gonna give it an 8.
Okay.
Um, it's still solid. It might be a little higher if I didn't love the original one so much. Again, it's hard not to think about them when you are looking at these movies. And this is good. It is solid as far as remakes go. Really good remake, but yeah, when you love the original so much, it's hard not to look at it a little bit kind of as like a lesser version, even though that sounds harsh, but 'cause it is good. But you know what I'm saying.
Aye. Um, Fun enough, I'm also going to give it an 8, which is interesting because for me that's only dropping half a point. Um, but no, I actually think this one holds up really well. And I actually also seen this first. I seen this originally before I saw the original,
Yeah.
um, which might help with my opinion of it because I like don't But nah, I think it's a really effective ghost story where there is some kind of semblance of rules, but it's not overly specific, so you get away with it. And I think more than anything, the entire time there's just this creepy tone where you feel like you're out of place, and it kind of works at the characters. Like I feel like, as much as you could argue, oh, it's kind of like whitewashing because they're saying, oh, we need to have like American white characters be the leads. It does kind of add this extra sense for us as an audience, as a Western audience, regardless of your race. It does add this semblance of like I can't read anything here. I feel out of place. I feel out of
Yeah.
my comfort zone. So the entire movie kind of has that feeling. Now, admittedly, I think when you're watching a Japanese movie that's a ghost story, you kind of feel that anyway because you are
Yeah.
watching a foreign movie and it is about people that are from a different country and you can't read the text and so on. But having the main character also be going through in that gave it a uniquely different connection to us as a Western audience that maybe the original didn't have. Although the original is stronger in other ways, so you
Yeah.
know.
and and also too, like again, I like that they got the original director to do it, and I mean, who knows, maybe this was something that, maybe he suggested, or something that, as a way to bring it to us, to have this like American, cast and stuff.
Also, I do want to check out the extended cut at some point. There's a director's cut on the Blu-ray which I've never
Oh, right.
watched.
Yeah. That's
Um,
actually the version I watched.
it was.
Yeah.
What was different about it?
Well, I don't remember because it's been a while since I watched the original.
That is why I
So,
did not watch the director's cut because I wanted
hmm,
to watch the one that I remembered, and I assumed it was the one you were watching as
yeah.
well. Uh,
Hey, if I get two options, and I got the standard or the big beefed up version.
no, but this is the
Although,
thing. This is the thing, though, Timmy. I
yeah.
heard that this was quite different. The director's cut.
Mm, I don't know. It didn't seem that much different to me.
So you say that, but I bet if I watched it, I'd be pointing out tons of things.
We'll see. I think it's only like an extra 7 minutes or so.
Yeah, but I think they also took stuff out.
Oh, well, maybe.
Jesus Christ, Timmy. Jesus
What?
Christ. You watched the director's cut and you can't even tell me what was different about it. This is just typical.
Well, it's not like you mentioned anything where, I was like, wait a minute, there's no Peter character in the version I watch.
Well, not obviously, but, like, I'd,
Hmm.
I'd be really curious as to what the differences are, so it's annoying that you can't tell
Well,
me.
go watch him.
I'm not going to watch it. I just watched the theatrical cut.
Right.
I'll watch the director's cut in a couple of years, maybe.
Okay.
Jesus. All right. What a shambles this sometimes turns into. Thank you very much for watching, guys. We are Screams After Midnight, of course, and we do a bunch of horror movies, so check out all the other ones. There'll be links in the corner, as there will be to our weekly TV thing that we do, which is Tales from the Crypt. We do Tales of the Crypt reviews every weekend over on the sister channel, which is Male Fuzz TV, and there'll be a link to that too, so check that out. Plus, check out our friends over at Ronin's Reviews. They do written horror movie reviews. They're big fans of horror over there, so check them out. There'll be a link in the description. And other than that, yeah, just keep watching scary movies and stuff, and come back for more Halloween goodness. Thank you very much for watching. We will see you next time.